Hello everyone! After 1 year of collecting knives, I asked myself what knives would I recommend to someone who is completely new to knives. In other words, what knives would make a good starting point for a collection. Of course, this is a very theoretical question because you don't wake up one morning and say to yourself, hey, today I want to become a knife collector, what do I have to do first? Usually you get into knives for very different and random reasons. Very often, especially if you are younger, the looks of a knife may be the most determining factor. So in the beginning you probably buy knives without thinking about how to build up a collection. When I started getting into knives, I was quite overwhelmed and confused by all the different manufacturers, knife designs, locking mechanisms, blade steels, handle materials, etc. YouTube was a great help. Especially Mr. Dagan 007's knife reviews have been and still are a great source of inspiration. So I hope this video may help some of the younger folks to get some ideas. Before I introduce the 5 knives, which I think make a good starting point for a collection, let me give you my criteria for my choices. First, when I'm talking about a knife collection, I'm not talking about stuff you put in a glass cabinet. The knives I chose are user knives. They are supposed to be used out in the woods, in the kitchen, in the office, wherever and whenever you may need a knife. Second, with regards to younger people, the knives should be affordable and should have an outstanding value for money. Each knife I chose is less than $50, some are even under $20. Third, each knife should cover a specific category of knives. And finally, the knives should represent an international spectrum. As you will see, there are 2 American knives and 3 European knives. These are my criteria. If you choose other criteria, you definitely come to other conclusions. But without further ado, let's take a look at the knives. The first knife belongs to the family of Swiss Army knives. It's the Victorinox Cadet. Actually, the specific model is not that important. I could have chosen any other Victorinox knife, but the Cadet has got a reasonable size and it comes with some of the most useful tools. There are 2 screwdrivers, a can opener, a bottle opener, and a small file. It's a perfect EDC knife, and since it's a non-locking knife with a blade length under 3 inches, it's supposed to be legal in all countries. I think each knife collector should have at least one Swiss Army knife. The second knife I would recommend to a beginning knife collector is the Buck 110, another true classic. It's the original lockback folding knife with brass bolsters, brass liners and brass rivets. It's built like a tank. It's very sturdy, but also quite heavy. If you don't mind the weight, this is a knife that will never let you down. Very often you can read that the Buck 110 is the most copied knife in the world, and I'm pretty sure that this is true. There are countless lockback knives from many different manufacturers that share this characteristic design. Now, the next knife is a must-have for every knife enthusiast. It's the very affordable Opinel number 8. I could have also chosen the number 7 or number 9. I just happen to own the number 8. It doesn't really matter. All these Opinels have a reasonable blade length. The Opinel has been around for more than 100 years. It was invented in France and has become a French icon since then. The Opinels come either in carbon steel or stainless steel. It has a thin blade, which makes it a good slicer. It's a non-threatening knife that can be used in the kitchen, at the table, even as an EDC knife. The next knife is a fixed blade, and I think it's the best fixed blade to start a collection with. It's a knife from Sweden. It's the Mora. This one here is Eric Frost's Clipper in orange. There are various other Mora knife models with different steels, slightly different handle shapes, etc. Yes, there is a lot of plastic used, But for a $10 knife, you simply can't go wrong. When it comes to camping, hiking, hunting, bushcrafting, a Mora knife always comes in handy. Finally, I picked a modern style folding knife, the Spyderco Tenacious. Again, excellent value for money, at least for those of you who live in the US. I guess for many people, this knife was the entry into the world of Spyderco knives or modern folding knives in general. Although the Tenacious is considered a tactical knife, I think it's an all-purpose EDC knife. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to carry it as an EDC knife here in Germany, but I use it a lot at home for almost all kinds of cutting tasks. The total value of these 5 knives is around $120, so even if you're on a budget, you can start a great collection with these quality knives. Now, where can you go from here? Actually, you have got lots of options. For example, the Victorinox Cadet opens the way to the world of more sophisticated Swiss Army knives, or maybe even multi-tools. If you want to upgrade from the Cadet, you could pick the Victorinox Hunter, for example. You will find other beautiful traditional knives along the lines of the Buck 110 in almost every country. For example, this German lockback knife. It's a Karl Schlieper knife with the famous brand name German Eye. Maybe the opener gets you hooked up on other French knives like the well-known Laguiole knives. The Mora is your entry to the world of fixed blades. One day you may want to upgrade your Mora to a more high-end knife like this wonderful Enso Trapper from Finland. I will eventually do a review on this knife. And the Tenacious, of course, represents a whole universe of modern folding knives made by companies like Spyderco, Benchmade, Kershaw, CRKT, etc. I guess this knife category is where most of us spend our money on. So what would be an appropriate upgrade from the Tenacious? I would suggest the fantastic Spyderco Sage 1. Okay, these were just my random thoughts on starting a knife collection. I hope this video is a help to anyone out there. Please feel free to post a video response if you think there are better choices. I'm happy if you disagree with me. I'm interested to see what kind of criteria you consider reasonable. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.